Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. So, a while back, I looked at the periodic table and made a video where I kind of outlined all the elements, and I was just trying to figure out anything about it. But I don't remember if I did learn anything. I don't remember. Because, kind of like learning a language or learning guitar, if you just do it once and then walk away from it, you're not going to remember. So I thought today I could, again, kind of just look at what the different elements are. But this time I went to the library and I found some books. This book called Elements, the Building Blocks of the Universe. And this book called The Illustrated Encyclopedia of the Elements. I'm aware these are books for children, and I'm a grown-ass woman. But I don't know. I don't know whether to blame my schooling or myself. But for some reason, I have no recollection of learning anything about the elements beyond we had to memorize the letters and put them on a sheet of paper. I do remember that. But that's it. That's all I ever remember learning. So anyway, I thought maybe it would be fun to see what we can figure out. Crystal Cave, Robots on Parade, Meet the Elements. Okay, I want to know about this. Are you going to show me? Hold on, let's see. Oh, what was that? Okay, they are, here we go. Okay. The periodic table, sorting the elements. So, they say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 periods in horizontal rows. Horizontal goes like the horizon. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 groups in vertical columns. So they go this way. And then they say team talk. The groups or vertical columns are families of elements that react in similar ways. Okay. Generally, the elements in a group become more reactive toward the bottom. Sometimes similarities are also shared across neighboring groups, forming larger teams of related elements. Wow, okay. All right. 3/4 of all known elements are metals. And they show you have your red. So they're saying from lithium down to francium. Francium? I don't know. This whole area right here. These are called alkali metals. Soft, shiny, and extremely reactive. That's what they say about me. Just kidding. Soft, shiny, and extremely reactive. So that includes lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. I can't believe I don't even know so many. Okay, and then they show pink, which are these. They go from beryllium down to radium. And we did the radium girls, about the girls who made the clocks that were glow in the dark. That's a pretty interesting video. It's about 2 weeks ago, I think I made it. Anyway, okay, alkaline earth metals, silverly white reactive metals that form minerals Okay, so they are these ones. Number 2 family. And they include beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, which is used in glass making. I do know about that because I do glass work. And radium. Barium. Well, now I'm not sure because I don't do blown glass, but no, never mind. That's something else. Never mind. Okay. Next, they have yellow is transition metals, and that is all of these from 3 through 12, and then most of 4, 5, 6, and 7. They are transition metals, tough, versatile metals that are easy, easy to shape. Okay, so that's all of these. And it goes down to here, and then it goes all the way over here, up here. And so they say, my goodness, there's so many. I won't pronounce these correctly, so forgive me. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, yttrium, never, it's for color TV, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver, cadmium, hafnium, tantalum, tungsten, rhenium, osmium, iridium, platinum, gold, mercury, rutherfordium, dubnium, seaborgium, borium, hassium, meitnerium, darmstadtium, roentgenium, and copernicium. How'd I do? How did I do? This is why when people want to not trust a scientist, I'm like, oh, I trust scientists. They know way more than I do. They smart. All right, poor metals. Soft metals with some non-metal properties. Poor metals. Interesting. So that is these light blue, or on this map, they're green. So it includes, not map, table. It's a table. It includes aluminum up here. And then it comes down to gallium. I'll just say them all while I do them. And then down to indium and tin. And then it comes down here to thallium, lead, bismuth over this way. And what comes down here? Wait, what? What is going on, guys? I don't know. See, I don't know what I'm doing. Look, these ones are different. This says nihonium, flarevium, moscovium, and livermorium. But over here it says, I don't know what it says. It says unquadium and unhexium. What? Why are they different? Oh no. All right, well, we're putting them in the same column. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so we were on which one? We were on the blue. Now we're on the metalloids, and they say these are the light purple. These have both metal and non-metal properties. So on this map, I'm looking at, or this table, it's boron, silicone, silicone, yeah, silicone, germanium. It's almost hard for me to read just because of the color. Arsenic, antimony. That's what you have to pay people after you get divorced. Tellurium, and polonium. Is that the same year? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, then the next is nonmetals. That's here. Gases and solids with differing chemistry. I'm going to read them from here because this is easier for me to see, but I'll trace them. Carbon. Oops, but now I can't look while I do it. Forgive me if I get sloppy. Nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, and selenium. Okay. And then next is halogens, a group of reactive elements also called salt formers. Okay. So we have fluorine, chlorine, which is in swimming pools, bromine, iodine, astenine, and then this map says other elements, but this map says tennessine. It almost looks like Tennessee. Tennessine. Okay. Noble gases, generally unreactive, colorless, and odorless. Okay, so we have helium, which, it used to be every birthday you'd get helium balloons at the party city. And now I think they don't do helium anymore because there's and I could be totally wrong about this. If you know, put it in the comments. But I think there's some shortage of the helium gas because of, I don't know why. But, and that's why they put balloons on sticks and stuff more now than fill tanks with helium. Is that right? Our party city closed, so anyway, helium. And then we'll go down here to, I have to read it on here, neon, which is actually what they put inside of the neon lights to make them glow like that, right? I think so. Argon, krypton, that is what they give to the bad guys to keep Superman weak. That's all I know about krypton. Xenon. Are you guys going to see the new Superman movie? I think I might have to. Just for old time's sake. Radon. And then on this map, they say other elements. On here it says, what? What does that say? Oh, what the heck? It says, I cannot read that. Hold on. I was going to get I don't see my magnifying glass. It says oganosson, maybe? I don't know. I can't quite see it. I think that's what it says. Okay. Now what? We did brown. Now they say the green, which on R is purple. And it says lanthanoids, reactive metals with a similar chemistry. Reactive metals with a similar chemistry. I have to look at this. Okay, lanthium is the LA. Cerium. Oops. What? Praseodymium, obviously. Neodymium. Promethium. Samarium. Europium. Oh, I like that. Europium. Sounds like a cool, ABBA album. Gadolinium. Terbium. Dysprosium. Holmium. Erbium. Thulium. What is that one? YTT. ytterbium, and then luteum. See, I have to read it on here because the black on the purple, that's too hard for me to see with my old lady eyes. I think it would be hard for anybody to see. It's bad graphic design is what that is. Okay, and then they say, see, this is where the rare earth minerals goes, and this is where the actinide metals go. But they say just like these two, they're now these big things. Because I think what happened was there used to just be, I could be totally wrong, I'm making this part up. I'm totally making it up. There used to just be one of them, but then they found a whole bunch more. So they were like, okay, go see. So it's like almost like, go see here, go see here. Okay, so now this part is, it says, actinoids. Many of these are made in nuclear reactions. Okay, so hold on. I have a candle here for a reason. I saw something I wonder. Okay, actinium, thorium, proactinium, uranium, neptunium, plutonium. That is what you need to get 1.21 gigawatts from Back to the Future. Okay, americium. That must be it. Americium. Curium, berkelium, californium. All right, fermium, mendelevium, nobelium. Wait, somehow we're down here. Did we miss one? Oh. Lawrencium. Okay, so that is all of them. And here they have like pictures of what they kind of look like, I guess. Like there's a sodium salt crystal, and there's nickel and copper and zinc and sulfur. I think of sulfur as a gas that stinks, but I guess oxygen. Okay, so they're just like fluorine, chlorine. Okay, fiery and freezing metals. Oh, sodium and water. What? What is this? This experiment shows what happens when sodium, a group 1 alkaline metal, comes into contact with water. It was performed under laboratory conditions. A piece of sodium is placed on filter paper in a water bath. You only need a small lump. See right there? I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like a little white bit right here. It's hard to see. Because as soon as the water soaks through the filter paper, the reaction begins. The reaction is violent. Hydrogen gas is released from the water and ignites due to the heat of reaction. I love nothing more than when you go to like a science center and they have somebody doing, science experiments that you watch. I love that so much. I remember with my kids, I'd be like, let's go. We got to be there by this time. And they'd be like, Mom, we're doing something else. I'm like, no, we're not missing the science experiment. It's my favorite. Oh, your sodium, francium, potassium, hydrogen. The sun burns 683 million tons of hydrogen every second. Wow. Water, H2O, is water. Here's the Hindenburg. I'm going to do a video on this. Actually, I should make it while I have this book because I could show this picture. But the Hindenburg was a blimp, and it was hydrogen that was making it rise. And it's super explosive, so it's an interesting story. Alkaline earth metals, the upper crust elements. Ooh, what is this? Oh, it's barium. Yeah, you use barium to do x-rays where you can see everything. The compound barium sulfate is given to people with stomach disorders as a barium meal. Once swallowed, the barium shows up on x-ray photographs, allowing doctors to see what's going on in the digestive system. How cool would it be to be a doctor? Get to look inside people. I think I could be, I don't know, a dermatologist maybe. That seems kind of cool. Calcium makes hard shells. Miracle mineral, bone health. Calcium in space. Firework color. Yeah, that's interesting. They use different elements to make the different colors in a firework. This firework display over Washington, D.C. gets its bright colors from a range of alkali and transition metal compounds that are added to the explosive mixture. Strontium and lithium produce vivid reds as they burn. Barium compounds make green and copper creates blue. Yellow comes from sodium, while white flashes are made using aluminum, magnesium, titanium, and zirconium powders. That's so cool. Mainstream metals. What is the Earth made of? How are astronauts shielded from the sun? Which paint used by artists was a rat killer? Well, lead, mercury. There are a lot of them, I think. The Iron Earth's core. Look at that. That's the core of the Earth. I'm so fascinated. I'm so fascinated. That's so crazy. Titanium, mercury, tungsten, nickel, titanium. What do they say about mercury? This is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature. Mercury was used in thermometers until people realized that it's poisonous. Amalgam, a safe mercury alloy is used in dentistry to fill cavities in teeth. I think when I was a kid, we went to a dentist. His name was Dr. Aiken. I mean, imagine. It was a nightmare. It was the worst. I hated going to the dentist. And every time we went, he filled teeth. He just was always filling teeth. My brother, my sister, myself, everybody. And when he would do the shot for the Novocaine, it hurt so bad that I would tell him to fill my teeth without Novocaine because I thought that was less painful than the Novocaine. That's true. Ooh, metal armor. Looky there. When my son was little, he wanted he was like, he didn't want it, but he was into metal armor and stuff, which is funny because he's still into like all that kind of camouflage and weapons and things. But there was an antique store and they had a, I'm sure it was a cheap replica or something, but it was a suit of armor. And I wanted to buy it and put it in his room. It was so bad. But it was too expensive. The King of Bling. Gold. AU is gold. Oh yeah, I was thinking of doing a video on the Statue of Liberty. I think, and maybe my memory is mistaken, I have to look it up, but when I was a kid, we first went to the crown and looked out, and then you could walk up all the way to the top of her hand of the torch and look out. But I need to look up when they stopped doing that because I'm not sure if that memory is false or not. But it's an interesting story, the Statue of Liberty, I think. Elements in art. Here we go. Rat poison. Paris green paint was so toxic that it was also used as rat poison. Oh my goodness. It says Paris green, the deep emerald color compound, contained toxic arsenic. It may have poisoned some of the artists who used it. Yeah. Cadmium yellow, Prussian blue, vermilion. You can still buy most of these. Lead white, bone black, cave art, iron. It's what you use for all the buildings. Iron from ore, rare earth metals, heavy elements, plutonium, making the nuclear bomb, radioactive elements. 1 pound of uranium could power the entire U.S. for nearly 1.5 minutes. Fascinating. Marie Curie. She ended up dying of exposure to radiation after her studies, I think, right? I think we talked about her in Radium Girls, I guess. I have one of these. Amethyst. These purple amethyst crystals are made of the compound silicon dioxide, which is silicon and oxygen. Tiny amounts of impurities give the crystals their color. That's interesting. Arsenic. This element is toxic to nearly all of life, apart from some tough types of bacteria. It was once a favorite poison of murderers because its presence in the dead body was difficult to detect. There's a movie too, called Arsenic and Old Lace. And it's these old ladies and they poison people. Non-metal gases. Deadly elements. What? Tell me everything. I'm going to light this candle real quick because I know somewhere I saw something. I got a dinosaur riding on a scooter. It's like an ET thing. I should have trimmed the wick on there, but oh well, it's fine. This is sort of a fall apple pumpkin candle. All right, what do they say? Dead from lead. Scientists disagree about what caused the death of composer Ludwig van Beethoven, but it could have been lead. He took lead-laced medicines for his ailments. Mind-bending mercury. Abraham Lincoln treated his fits of rage and depression with little blue pills. Isn't that, I can't think of the name of it, the little blue pill. Anyway, whose main ingredient was toxic mercury. He was shot in 1865, but if the bullet hadn't killed him, the mercury eventually would have. How about them apples? What is this one? The bourgeois was a ruthless family. I'm not saying that right. The bourgeois? I don't know. Or, because I know bourgeois is like I-O-U. I don't know. Ruthless family in Italy whose enemies did not last long. Lucrezia Borgia is said to have worn a hollow ring in which she kept a poison made of arsenic, phosphorus, and copper. Look at this. The bamboo lemur consumes enough cyanide daily to kill a human. Impressionist artists of the 19th century went mad for Paris green, literally. This vivid green paint contained arsenic. Paul Cézanne's diabetes, Vincent van Gogh's mental problems, and Claude Monet's blindness were likely caused by this toxic paint. Okay. Radioactive radium. Radium kills by releasing lethal radiation into the body. Marie Curie, far right here, the discoverer of radium, carried radioactive material around in her pockets, unaware of the dangers. She eventually died of radiation sickness. Polonium peril. Polonium. Not all deaths from toxic elements are accidental. The Russian ex-spy Alexander Litvinenko was murdered in London in 2006. His food was poisoned with polonium, a radioactive element, and he died 3 weeks later. Isn't that what killed the other Russian? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. I watched the whole documentary too. Anyway, who was trying to run against... I can't think of anything. Forget it. My brain. World War I military cemetery. Chlorine was used as a poison gas in World War I, carried by the wind over enemy positions. When the wind changed, it often blew the gas over the attackers instead. 91,000 soldiers died from poison gas attacks during World War I. Jesus. Selenium. Yeah, these nuts, Brazil nuts, if you eat just like one, you get a tiny bit of selenium, and that can be good if you have thyroid issues. But if you eat multiple, you can actually get way too much selenium. So you have to be a little careful with them. Sulfur. I'm not an expert. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. Phosphorus. Nitrogen. Oxygen. Well, it must have been in this other book. Hold on. Let's see real quick. Where's oxygen? Manganese. I swear it was this book. I'm pretty sure. Mercury. Radon, radium. Huh. Well. What was that? Did you see that? This is what I saw earlier when I just flipped open this book. They're talking about oxygen. And it says, a candle flame burns because the carbon in the wax interacts in a combustible way with the oxygen in the air. If you place a glass cover over the candle, isolating it from oxygen in the air, the flame will go out. Well, that works with a metal cover too. That's how I always put my candles out. And I did it on... I've had candles on here, and somebody was like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. Yeah, this is a good way to put out your candle. Because then the smoke, it's only if you don't mind if this gets like dark on top, which I don't care. You can wipe it off. But the smoke stays in there and just sort of dissipates after a while. And that way you don't get smoke all like in your house. So that's why I do that. I don't know if that really works. Maybe when you open it, the smoke. But I usually just leave it. And by the next day, you know, the smoke's gone. If I opened it right now, the smoke would come out. So anyway, something to try. Making oxygen. Oxygen, the great reactor. What is this? The human body contains enough iron to make a 3-inch nail. Yeah, you need iron for your blood and everything, but you can also get too much iron, especially, I think, if you're a man. There are a lot of men who, based on TikTok videos, are taking a lot of iron to help muscle gain, but you do have to be careful because it can mess with your heart. And maybe your brain, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm no expert. Look it up. But I do think you can get too much iron. So you should really get tested and see if you need it or not. digestion, elements in sports, carbon-based life. Almost every part of your body contains the element carbon. Carbohydrates in food. Carbohydrates such as sugar and starches are compounds of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Carbohydrates supply animals and plants with energy to fuel their body process. Carbon for life, the key cycle. The carbon cycle. It's a CO2. Halogens, chlorine, iodine. What does it say about iodine? Make sure you eat your greens. They contain lots of iodine, which helps your body develop healthfully. I feel like I would say healthfully, but healthfully. Okay, I guess. Iodine is also a great antiseptic, used to keep wounds free from infection. When I was a kid, and you don't see this much anymore, you'd have iodine at your house to put on cuts. I feel like they don't have that anymore. Maybe they do, I don't know. Bromine, chlorine, astenine, fluorine. Is that what this is? Fluorite crystals. Halogens react violently with metals to form stable compounds called salts. Oopsie daisy. Helium. The lighter than air element is used in lifting gas in balloons and airships. It is safer than hydrogen because it is non-flammable. Helium has the lowest boiling point of any element, and it is used in liquid form to cool nuclear reactors. They show neon. Like all noble gases, neon glows when electricity passes through it. Neon lights blaze bright red-orange, bringing glamour and glitz to city nightlife. I went to the Neon Sign Museum in Cincinnati, and they have all these old neon signs, and they fix neon signs. I thought it was really interesting. I liked it. Recycling elements. We need to do more of this. There's so much of that. History of discovery. Cave painting. Greek elements. Glassworks. First flight. In France, the first piloted flight of a hydrogen-filled balloon. Printing press. Gutenberg. Volta battery. Wait a minute. Can you believe somebody invented a battery? Things that are invented that I'm just like, what? How'd you, like, I've been playing records on the record player a lot lately, and it's like, I have a lot of live jazz albums like Dave Brubeck and things like that from the 1950s, and I swear it sounds like they're in my living room and you can hear the crowd sounds, and it's such a perfect recording, and I'm just like, this is incredible that somebody put this on this disc and I can put it on my record player and listen to it, and I can close my eyes and feel like I am at that place at that time. It's like time travel. That has nothing to do with this. Chrome yellow. The Dutch artist Vincent van Gogh paints his vibrant sunflower series of pictures. The intensity of the colors is made possible by new artificial pigments such as chrome yellow, which is made with the element chromium. Gumballs. Oh, I love gumballs. I just think they're so cute. Bubblegum, 1906. I should do a video on bubblegum. The first bubblegum, Blibber Blubber. So cute. I've got to do a whole video. And there's somebody who always asks me to chew gum, so I could chew gum. The first bubblegum Blibber Blubber has sulfur in its recipe. It is not successful. It burst into a sticky mess when blown. Double Bubble Gum solves the problem in 1928 by including stretchy latex in its ingredients. Wow. Double Bubble Bubble Gum. Radioactivity, first powered flight, atom bomb, Sputnik 1, space shuttle, diamond in the sky. What? Microchips, carbon nanotubes. Wow. What do you guys think? Did we learn anything or not really? Whoopsie daisy, that was kind of loud. So here they have how to read the periodic table, periods, groups. There's the atomic number, the symbol, the name, and the atomic mass. Each element has an atomic number. The element's atomic number, it's the number of protons in the nucleus of the element's atom. Okay? Check. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron. I use borax, which I think is boron, in my glass work. What you do is, before you can fire a glass in a kiln, you kind of need to treat the glass to keep it shiny so it doesn't get all cloudy. So I treat it with a borax, like kind of mixed in water, and that keeps it shiny. Carbon, nitrogen, bunny rabbit, oxygen, neon, and fluorine. Fluorine. Okay, I should do an episode on fluoride, but I know everybody yells at me for doing political, which it's just fluoride. I don't know what is and what isn't anymore. But this picture made me think of it because, yeah, they show the two brown teeth. I'll just do a quick rundown on the fluoride thing. So it was like out in Colorado, I think, somewhere. All the town, these people all moved out there, and their teeth all turned brown. And they called it brown tooth syndrome or something. And there were like a couple of towns where people all had brown teeth. And so they had these top of their field kind of dentists. And this is way back, I don't know, I'm making it up, but 1890s or early 1900s. And they were like, why is everybody's teeth brown? And the dentists were out there trying to figure it out for a while. Couldn't quite figure it out. But one thing they noticed is they had brown teeth, but their teeth were the healthiest they'd ever seen. They didn't have cavities. They weren't losing their teeth. Their gums looked healthy. They were like, that's kind of weird. They are brown and you look gross, but they're super healthy. So eventually they figured out, fluoride, I guess that's the same as fluoride, is in the groundwater. It's a mineral. And if you have a lot of it in your water, it'll discolor your teeth and turn them brown. But once they realized how protective it was, they figured out the absolute least amount they could put in drinking water to protect people's teeth while not turning them brown. And it's a natural mineral. So that's kind of interesting, I think. So I did want to do a video on that, but I am getting a little more, people are yelling at me too much. Fluorine is considered the most reactive element on the periodic table. In pure form, it is a toxic yellowish gas, so reactive that a tiny amount in the air can kill a human being. Hydrofluoric acid can burn through hard substances like steel, glass, and brick. Its toxicity made the process of isolating it incredibly difficult. It was not until 1886 that Henry Moissan isolated fluorine, later earning him a Nobel Prize in 1906. From toxic gas to healthy smiles. In small amounts and combined with other elements, fluorine transforms from deadly gas to helpful ally. In fact, it is considered essential for humans. The fluoride in your toothpaste is made from fluorine combined with sodium, and it protects our teeth from decay. Much of the tap water in the United States has fluoride added because scientists in the 1940s discovered that people who lived in areas with high fluoride levels in their water had fewer cavities. There you go. But I know they're talking about taking it out of the water, but I think most people who want it use fluoride toothpaste, so it's probably fine. My husband brushes his teeth and leaves the toothpaste on his teeth. He doesn't rinse. How bizarre is that? He says it works for him, so who am I to judge? Sodium, magnesium, aluminum, or as the Brits call it, aluminium. The 10 most abundant elements in the Earth's crust. Silicon and phosphorus, sulfur, you stink. That's sulfur. Argon, calcium, titanium. What is she doing with the kitty cats? My cat would lie down and take a nap, and I'd be going, go Cooper, go Cooper. Nickel. This must be because of Nickelback. Just kidding. What's in a name? Zinc. Arsenic. Krypton. In Greek, kryptos means the hidden one. Krypton is another noble gas that hides in the background, colorless, odorless, and non-reactive with other elements. It is one of the rarest gases in our atmosphere at 1 part per million of air. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Silver, cadmium, tin, iodine. Yeah, it's good for your thyroid. There used to be an area in the U.S. It's in the Midwest of the United States. It's called the Goiter Belt. And it's an area where iodine there isn't a lot of iodine, I guess, in the soil. Maybe that's what it is. And so the plants growing there don't have a lot of iodine in them naturally. And so people there tend to have lower iodine before they started iodizing salt. And so they'd get goiters, which are like big growths that grow on your neck. And they can get really big, like big. But then they started to realize it's because they had very low iodine, and that would wreck their thyroid. So they started to put iodine in salt, and that basically fixed that issue. And now, and I do this too, but they say, oh, there's too much iodine, so use sea salt or mineral, pink Himalayan salt. And I use those because I like them, but I try to always use some iodized salt too, just to keep. But now there's iodized salt in a lot of foods and stuff, so, but I don't eat out very often. I eat at home, so I have to kind of salt my own stuff. So I do a mix of both. Europium. I swear some of these I've never heard of. What's Scientists theorize an iridium-rich meteorite led to the extinction of some dinosaurs. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, gold. Oh, they weren't showing brown teeth. They were showing gold teeth. I thought they were showing the brown tooth thing. They're showing somebody with gold teeth. Okay. Okay. Never mind. Scratch everything I said earlier. Radioactive Pepto-Bismol. This is what, when I was a kid, anytime you felt sick, my mom would come in and give me Pepto, and I don't know if it's because I already had stomach issues or if it was the taste of this stuff, but as soon as she'd give it to me, within like 10 minutes, I'd throw up. And so I relate this to throwing up, and I hate it so much. You couldn't make me drink this for $1 million. Well, maybe for $1 million. Probably even for 100. I'm cheap. But it tastes kind of like wintergreen, and to this day I hate wintergreen. Ugh, I hate it. You know how they make those? What are the mints in the tin? They taste like, they smell, just their smell makes me cringe. It's like wintergreen. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Deadly elements. Standout chemist. She's younger than me, and she got a cartoon person. Good for her. Well, that was sort of interesting. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. I know we didn't probably learn too much, but we tried. Go up here. Alright, do you guys remember what these are called going this way? Me either. It's in groups. It is. Yeah, groups. Groups go vertically. And you guys remember what goes horizontally? Oh, we never got the screen.